So this is something that we're continuously looking at. We're always saying to ourselves, how can I take this idea and bring it all the way to income? Now, a lot of us have really good ideas, but we haven't put them down anywhere. So we're thinking about, where can I do this? Now, one of the things that I like to consider as we're thinking about idea, how we're going to take that and we're going to bring it over to income, there are going to be some steps. We're going to be 1, 2, 3. We're going to be come up with all kinds of different steps. So now we say to ourselves, well, I've got to flesh out the idea. That becomes 1, right? Flesh out idea. And then the next thing I'm asking myself is, as I'm fleshing out the idea, will it make money? Now, we don't know any of this yet, but then when we start thinking about, well, how would I flesh out the idea? How will I know if it's going to make me any money? And then I'm going to ask myself, how much money? So what we call that is the total addressable market, right? Market, all right? Better known as TAM. TAM. All right, now, as we consider all of this, we've got idea to income. I don't know how much income yet because I need to figure out what I'm going to be doing next. So now the next thing that we want to consider is, let me go ahead and push this up a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to consider is number 4. Is, how do I find out? I got to do research now. And this is where it gets a lot of fun, everyone. Let's see, research. This is where we say, well, is it going to be me doing this research or someone? That's it. When we think about if it's going to be me or if it's going to be someone, we're always considering how much I can do it for versus outsource. And as we think about, am I going to outsource this? Then you have to think, what is it that you make? So let's go here. Right? So you make this much money versus the cost, which may only be this much money. So when we're thinking about that, we then come up with an ideal scenario that allows us to make the proper decision. In our next video, we're going to be talking about how we're going to take this idea to income, taking into consideration these factors here, and then very more importantly is this last one. Am I going to do the research to determine if I have an idea that can make me income? We'll get into that in the next video. See you there.
So what if the biggest myth in the online world is that you have to be the face of your brand? I mean, we're all told we have to be on 24/7, our face is just plastered everywhere. But what if there's another way? A way to build something really impactful, really profitable, and something that lasts without ever having to step into the spotlight? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Okay, so look at this. On one side, you've got the old way, which is basically a hamster wheel. It's that constant pressure to be visible, the slow creep of losing your privacy, and let's be honest, the inevitable burnout. But then, on the other side, there's a different path. It's not just more sustainable, it's honestly liberating. This is all about preserving your privacy and your energy so you can amplify your impact, not just your image. And this leads us to what we call the invisible revolution. The idea here is really simple, but it's also kind of profound. This isn't about hiding, not at all. It's about a strategic choice to make your ideas the celebrity, not your personal identity. You're letting the value you create take center stage, where it belongs. That leads to the big question, right? If your brand isn't built on your face or your personality, then what in the world holds it all together? How do you actually build that genuine connection with people and create something that they really trust and want to get behind? Well, the foundation is a rock-solid belief system. This becomes your brand's true north. It's made up of 3 things: your core values, what you truly stand for, your mission, the actual change you're trying to make in the world, and your promise. That's the transformation you guarantee for your audience. You know, think of a brand like Patagonia. Their core value is all about environmentalism. Their mission is to protect the planet, and their promise is gear that lasts. You know exactly what they're about, and you don't need to see the founder's face to get it. So here's the crucial shift in thinking. We're moving away from building recognition through a personality, and instead we're building it through consistent, recognizable patterns. And frankly, this is a much more scalable and, honestly, a more strategic way to build. So, how do we actually do that? You do it by developing what's called a signature signal. This is how you make that belief system something people can see and feel. Your color palette. It's not just about looking pretty, it should reflect your brand's values. Those signature phrases you use, they should echo your mission. Your unique graphic style becomes like a fingerprint. And even a consistent sonic identity, like your intro music, it all becomes part of this recognizable pattern. And when you get all those little elements working together, this is what happens. Your brand stops being just a logo and it becomes an atmosphere. When someone engages with your content, they're not just reading words on a screen. They're actually stepping into a world that you've built for them. It's a feeling, you know? It's immersive, it's emotional, and it's deeply memorable. All right, so you've built the atmosphere. Now how do you invite people in? This is where we get into creating content that echoes, content that actually sticks in people's minds and basically does the marketing work for you by spreading organically. A fantastic tactic for this is creating signature series. Just think of it like your favorite TV show. The audience knows what to expect, and they actually start looking forward to it. Whether that's your weekly deep dive on a topic, a monthly framework you share, or even seasonal reflections, these recurring formats build familiarity. And in the online world, familiarity always builds trust. And here's a little secret weapon for faceless brands: your voice. Audio creates a level of intimacy that a logo or a slick graphic just can't touch. It lets your audience feel a real, personal connection with the ideas you're sharing. That's why something as simple as a podcast or even a quick 3-minute audio note in your newsletter can be an absolute game changer. But look, content can't just be a one-way street. The real goal is to create these conversation loops. It all starts with a simple ask, a genuine question that invites a real response. Then, you don't just like their replies, you actually engage with valuable comments. From there, you invite them to go one step deeper, maybe join your newsletter or grab a free resource. And that is how you convert a passive follower into a member of a true community. Okay, so all of this awesome strategy and community building, it leads directly to this: monetizing the message. This is how you create a very, very visible income from your strategically invisible brand. And the opportunities here are just vast. You can create these awesome, scalable micro products, like a Notion template that solves one super specific problem for your audience. You could license your unique frameworks. You could build out curated affiliate shops. Or you could set up automated funnels that are working for you 24/7. Now, are you feeling a little overwhelmed by all that? Don't be. Getting started is so much simpler than you think. First, just identify one nagging pain point that your audience keeps talking about. Next, create a simple solution that gives them a quick win. Then, package it up beautifully so it feels premium and valuable. And finally, and this is key, just launch it. Don't overthink it. Get it out there and then improve it based on real feedback. This brings us to a final and honestly a crucial mindset shift. If you want to succeed with this model, you have to completely redefine what success looks like. It's time to stop tracking your ego and start tracking your real impact. I mean, just look at this comparison. Forget about follower counts and likes. Those are ego metrics. They feel good, but they don't build a business. The numbers that actually matter are things like saves, shares, and replies. Saves mean your content is so valuable, people want to keep it. Shares mean it's so good they're willing to risk their own reputation to pass it on. And replies, that shows you're sparking a genuine connection. And when it comes to turning that impact into actual action, I want you to just remember this number: 1. Every single piece of content you create should have one clear goal, one thing you want the person to do next. Is it join the list, download the guide, buy the product? Clarity converts. Confusion is going to cost you everything. So how do you make this whole thing last for years and years? Well, it rests on these 3 pillars. You've got to stay fluent with technology as it changes. You have to stay aware of cultural shifts happening around you. And crucially, you have to practice creative renewal. And note, this isn't just taking a vacation. It means actively scheduling time to learn new things, to explore other industries, and to bring that fresh energy back into your brand. So, if you take away only one thing from all of this, let it be this right here. The entire philosophy is built on this powerful truth. With a faceless brand, you are proving every single day that a powerful message doesn't need a famous face to change the world. The message is the star.
When it comes to creating and selling digital products, most of you are doing it all wrong, almost completely backwards. Let me explain. So I get a call the other day from a coaching client, and she wants to reintroduce into the marketplace a product she had sold some years before. Now, that's the good thing, is that this product has sold before. But what most people do is they create the product and then try to sell it to the marketplace. And that's completely wrong. So I want to show you some of the things that she had asked me, and then I'm going to show you some very simple things that we're going to do to reintroduce it into the marketplace without having to worry about all the financial drag that comes from having platforms and all this kind of stuff. So here are some of the questions. One of the questions was, how much should I sell it for? All right, that's a pretty common question. And now that the market has changed, we got to go out there and do some very interesting things to find out how much this thing is worth. All right, next one. What platform should I use? Now, she's had some bad experiences with some platforms, so I'm going to show you some really simple ways that you can get it back out there and test this thing to see if it'll actually sell. Now, the next one. Should I add some extra stuff to it? Now, the answer to that is absolutely heck yes. You should add as much as you possibly can to make it as valuable as possible because, again, the market has changed and people have seen more stuff. Next one is, could I help design it digitally and all that kind of stuff? That's an absolute yes, because I love being able to help you see the different things that you can use in a very simple way. Now, let me show you this. So I'm going to show you some of the things that are the simplest ways to get it out there to test to see if anybody will buy this thing. All right, here it is. One of these is just a simple Google Doc. Now, here's one that I created some time ago to get out and put some things out there. So you see this doc right here. This document can help you, pay the rent, save the house, make you want to quit your job, all these kind of cool stuff, right? And then I'm going to go into showing you how. So in this particular one, I'm just going through, and what I have here are links. These links lead to things. Now, next one is I show the receipts, if you will, the examples of how you can get all of this cool stuff done. And then I go into some images. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I use. So these are some of the simple ways that I show you how to get this done. Now, if you notice, all of these things on here are showing you exactly how, showing you some of the images that I use. This was like early DALL-E. Right now we got, a ChatGPT 4.0 that's like really crushing these. And here's some things that you can literally do to get it out there and present it, right? And then a buy me a coffee link. Now, the next one is, here are some other platforms that you use. Now, look at this. This is the simplest. This is just selling from a simple Google Doc. But here is the next one. Now, this one right here is going to be from Gumroad, right? So you can get out there and put your products on Gumroad. This is really, really easy. If you notice, I've got a whole bunch of products. This is what I'm going to be teaching in the class coming up in the 30-day challenge, right? So look at this. So here's some products that you could just drop on here and start selling like crazy, and they take their money on the back end. All right, the next one is PayHip, which is kind of like Gumroad. Now, each one is a little bit different, but it's just showing you how you can use a variety of different platforms. So this platform doesn't take money up front, like, hey, pay me $29 like Shopify. Sold a thing. And that's the cool thing. You can put your products and services on these things, test them out, see how they sell. You can add all these little cool things. This is the 0+ pricing plan, right? So people pay what they want, but there's a minimum, all that kind of stuff, right? So you get a chance to go and do that. Now, these are some of the simple ways that we can get stuff out there and start selling. So to answer her question, I'm literally in the middle of answering her question right now. And I'm saying, okay, I understand you might not use this particular product. Some people don't like StanStore. Some people don't like Systems. Some people don't like Go High Level. Some people don't like all of these fancy things you keep hearing about on the news and all that kind of stuff because they just run so many ads. But we're going to use these simple strategies to get it out there so you can start selling like crazy. And if you notice here, here's the challenge. Build products, sell products every day. I don't know if you can see that past the mic. For 30 days. Build products, sell products. When? Every day. For how long? 30 days. Now, this is literally going to be a 30-day challenge. Now, this is for kind of my power users. Not everybody's going to get on this one, but the one that I have coming up is just going to be a 5-day. This is going to be kind of a tiny challenge, a mini challenge, so that you can get going with this. It's going to be 5 days, and I'm going to be showing you how to create these digital products like a boss. I'm telling you, this stuff isn't rocket science, but we have to not do it backwards. We got to do it in the way that makes the most sense so that we can get it out there and test and see if it works. All right. Hey, everybody, I'll see you on the inside.